So, I landed on this island, and the entire landscape was ugly, rotted trees and brown skies. I see this man in a dusty hat crying, and I ask him what's wrong. He tells me the town is in ruins. Their carrot-based economy is falling apart. I told him I used to be a superhero, and he asked if I could find out what happened to all the carrots. I decided to take off my superhero gear because I didn't want more people asking me for help. I wasn't gonna help the town on an empty stomach, so I went inside the diner. I asked this lady with no uniform on if she worked here. She just had a random pitcher of milk with her. I don't know if the diner gave us XL cups. She says,
"Of course. You think I hang out here for fun?"
I ask her how work is, since she ain't got no customers. Probably because of the attitude.
"Honey, I'm just happy to have a job."
Looking back on it now, she had a point. I saw a bulletin board on the wall and saw 4 people went missing. They had dumbass names too. I went to the drink station and saw how messy it was. I asked this fry cook who he was. He said his name was Tony, the owner of this diner. I asked him how business was, because I was thinking of making a burger restaurant in the future and wanted some advice on what not to do. He said it wasn't doing so well and cried out for his mom. I asked him who the people on the bulletin board were. He says they were regulars and that they've been missing for months, so 80% of his profit was gone. I saw the menu advertising drinks that could change your hair color. After fucking up my hair, I decided to just paint it black. This dude should get a patent for his invention and not be trying to sell carrots. I left the diner because it was depressing. I talked to the townspeople and everyone was talking about how trash the job market was.
"I haven't been able to find work since the factory closed down."
I went inside this department store and saw a woman named Charlie. I see her all depressed and I ask what's wrong. She says she lost her cat and if I could find her, she'd give me a crowbar for free. I tell her I think about it and leave. I visited the abandoned factory, which apparently only made carrot cake, and that was the town's biggest export. I trip and stumble upon the blueprints of the vent system of the factory. I couldn't sneak inside the factory without that crowbar from Charlie, so I decided to run to the other side of the town, because I remembered she said her cat was always hanging around the farm. A farmer was complaining about his once successful business now dwindling.
"This used to be the greatest carrot farm in..."
But I heard the screech of a cat coming from a house behind him, so I ignored his ass. I did some parkour and shimmied down the chimney like Santa Claus. I picked up an empty bowl and climbed up a rope to the 2nd floor. I guess they sold the stairs to keep the farm afloat. I turned the water on and the missing cat popped up, but it didn't follow me out. So I had to get some milk. But I actually came back home, which isn't usually how the story goes. That did the trick. The cat jumped down a story to get some milk. I tried to turn the water off, but I couldn't. But farmers waste a lot of water anyway, so he probably wouldn't notice, right? But now that I had the cat, I was faced with a moral dilemma. Should I return the cat or keep her with me? I never in my life have taken care of a pet, but her owner was also neglectful. Surely my negligence might be more tolerable than hers. I got on my blimp and was about to take off, but I don't know. See, back then I had a conscience. If it was me of today, I would have gotten on that blimp and never came back. But I was a goody two-shoes back then. I decided to do the right thing. I couldn't have her owner start acting like the mayor, crying out in public. Except she probably did more for her cat than the mayor did for his town. So I'd actually feel bad. It was hard to let go of some random cute animal I'd stopped caring about in 2 days, but it had to be done. She gave me the crowbar she promised me. She might as well have hit me over the head with it. The pain of letting go was too great. I tried to convince myself it was the right thing. One last time, and bid farewell to Whiskers. the greatest cat I'd ever known. This bitch didn't even know the cat's gender. An hour ago, Whiskers was a she. And this was before having 3 sets of pronouns was a thing. So Whiskers was an icon back then, I guess. He, she, they before it was cool. I went all the way back to the factory and pried the vent open. I avoided the booby traps and made my way to the surface warehouse. I turned on the master engine by fiddling around with controls until all the lights turned on. Then when I pulled up my blueprint, I knew I was finally inside the factory. I made my way to the printer room, and I had to avoid falling crates. My evasion skills were still hot garbage. Eventually I got lucky and made it through. I looked at this one worker with bunny hat on and noticed she was being controlled. I turned the brainwashing machine off. She printed out a system password for me. I thanked her and left. I went to the freezer room and saw there were wires connected to the security system. Someone had written down that I could find wire cutters in the vent shaft. I don't know why their lazy ass didn't hide them closer to the freezer room for me. By the time I found them, I was already at the processing room. And honestly, after bumping my head so much, I forgot that turning off the security system first would have been a good idea. And I went inside anyway. Needless to say, I got caught pretty quickly. But for some reason, the security system dropped me off where I needed to go anyway. I guess they were hoping I'd die of hypothermia or something. But I took the chance to turn the security system off. Eventually, I made my way to the processing room again and turned these 2 workers' brainwash machines off for them. They all kept telling me to find rabbit ears, but never offered me theirs. So I decided to knock on the exit door and hope I got lucky. I fell into an industrial smash room. And the worst part was, I couldn't go back up. I escaped certain death and found the rabbit ears and put them on, making sure they were turned off first. I entered the exit room and saw this dude in an ugly ass bunny suit. I asked him who made his suit. He said,
Mischief,
"Huh?"
maker of all my machinations. Move fast and break things. That's how you conquer the world. Now shut up and get to the computer. Start the launch sequence.
I took control of the machine. Back then, I could only type 20 words per minute because I only used one finger. It was embarrassing moving so slow on the keyboard. I launched the rabbit into the sky. But for some reason, now that somebody else's life was in my hands, I all of a sudden had evasion skills. They still weren't good, but they were better. He was shouting at me for crashing into things, but I didn't care. Dumbass should have put a remote control in his spaceship, or at least an off-brand PlayStation controller. This is what happens when you don't know how your own products work. I took these ugly ass bunny ears off and left the factory. The mayor gave me a Medal of Honor and didn't give it to the diner lady for giving me milk, which was already a step up from my last adventure. Speaking of which, I met up with her, and she was actually happy now, and she didn't even ask for money back, much less a hot dog. In fact, the whole town was grateful, and I imagine they wouldn't have stripped me of my powers like some other place I know. I flew across the world and ended up landing on a little place called Spy Island. but you'll have to subscribe and like the video to hear about that.